Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Banter Era's Greatest Moments. I'm Paul North, I'm just a normal man, but I'm delighted to be joined by Dr. Chris Snowden, who is a Banter Era historian and expert. Welcome, Chris.
Historian of modern banter, yes. Welcome.
Thank you very much for joining us and making this series, exploring the Banter Era. But before we get into it and play some of our favourite moments from the era, what is it? What is the Banter Era?
What is the Banter Era? Well, it was that period in the second half of the 2010s when everything was funny if you didn't take life too seriously, you know? Things kept happening that shouldn't have happened. There was a break in the space-time continuum. And, the only question is exactly when it started and when did it end.
There's some conjecture, I believe.
There is.
Yourself and the fellow historian.
Scholars differ on when it began in particular. Clearly it ended before COVID.
It's
point.
Definitely over.
There was nothing very funny about that.
Yeah.
I have a view about the exact day on which it ended, but we'll get to that in the very last episode. As for when it started, some people say it was when Jeremy Corbyn became leader of the Labour Party. Other people say when Donald Trump became president. Sports fans, some of them say it was when Brazil got beat 7-1 in the 2014 World Cup. Other football fans say it's when Leicester won the Premier League. A true Banter Era moment.
That is a
completely unexpected and
big
funny.
Banter Era moment.
Some say, I think David Bowie died January 2016. Some people say that opened up the universe in some way, or indeed Lemmy dying the previous month. I think the majority of banter scholars agree with me that it actually started with an event in when was it? May 2015 during the election campaign involving Ed Miliband, and this is going to be my first nomination, my first moment. It's the Ed Stone. So during the campaign, Ed Miliband thought it would be a good idea to get 2 tons of limestone and go to a car park where he had his rather banal pledges to the nation. And he launched it. I've not been able to find any video of this, which is surprising. The whole thing became a huge embarrassment. But it was the first moment where people really were absolutely shocked at what was going on in politics. Like, what happened after this actually puts it in the shade. It's not actually that big a banter moment. But at the time, people were killing themselves laughing. Because look at the state of it. He's just got some bit of scaffolding up there. His pledges, as I say, there wasn't much to them. It was things like, we want an NHS with time to care. And what Miliband promised was he was going to put it up in the garden in Downing Street as a constant reminder when he became Prime Minister of what he owed to the British people. So I think this is the moment the Banter Era officially began, May 2015. There is some conjecture about what happened to the Ed Stone. He obviously lost the election. It was a hung parliament. He managed to make a Tory majority. He then resigned, obviously to be taken over by Jeremy Corbyn. And a lot of people said that the thing was smashed up.
Have you done a bit of research, Chris? What have you discovered?
Well, it's a genuine mystery. People don't really know it. Some people swear blind it was smashed up. They know the people who smashed it up. On the other hand, in 2017, in some shrubbery of the Ivy Chelsea Garden restaurant, this appeared, and apparently it was there for some time. It's not there anymore, and it's unclear whether this is a replica. A replica, if it is the real 2-ton Ed Stone. It's hard to say. Looking at it, actually, the letters look a bit wonky there, don't they?
Why would someone want to replicate it? Just
banter reasons.
Just a pure banter maneuver.
Yeah, just have a bit of crack about it. Yeah.
We got it wrong.
You got it completely wrong.
We got it wrong, yeah.
I'd like to start us with one of my favourite YouTube clips of all time. It is the gift that keeps on giving. It's got some length to it and it speaks for itself. So I think we should jump straight in and find out who on earth is Ronnie Pickering.
Who is Ronnie Pickering?
I love the headset.
What? You what? I'll go when the cars have gone.
Getting fired up. This is the high-speed chase part.
What's your problem?
Oh, beep that.
Where are you, mate? What? You got a problem? You know I am. What do you mean about a problem? What do you mean what a problem?
You f***ing muppet, there's no need for that.
What?
You
What? Fucking hanging about like that.
Hanging about like that?
In the cars.
I went round, yeah? And then you started fucking blocking
Yeah.
in. Yeah?
What's the problem? Can I go?
You got a problem, haven't
Yeah,
you?
you, yeah.
Yeah, you have.
Get your fucking helmet off then.
Oh, grow up, you fucking fool.
You know
I
what I
think
am?
you're a fool.
Do you know
Yeah?
what I am?
You what?
Do you know what I am?
Do I care?
Here we go.
Well, you will do when you pull up.
Come on, who are you then?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who the fuck's that?
Yeah, me.
No, wow,
Yeah.
oh, brilliant.
Fucking found out then.
Fuck off then, fuck off then. Fucking Johnny Pickering, he's the one famous, are you?
Yeah.
Fuck sake.
So great. Second high-speed chase.
What? Come on, what?
It's very important to watch the wife here.
Oh, yeah.
She's doing the windows for him.
What?
Let's have a fucking bare knuckle then.
What's that gonna prove?
You, I'm gonna knock you out.
Why are you here? Why are you here?
Let's have a bare knuckle fight then.
What would a bare knuckle
I'll
fight
show
for?
you then, won't I? Who I am.
Who you are? Are you on about?
Yeah, bare knuckle fight. Come
What do you
on.
know who you are?
Get over here.
Oh, what do you mean who you are? You said who you are, you Ron fucking Pickering.
Come on.
You said you Ron Pickering or
Yeah.
something.
Fucking what? Some idiot.
I don't know what you're on about.
See that? I'll fucking smash. I'm telling you something.
Would you, right?
Go
Yeah,
like
yo,
gaze
why?
be off you.
Because you're an idiot.
Why am I?
You want to have a fight or what?
I didn't say I wanted to fight with you.
Listen, fucking dickhead. Don't fucking cause one then.
I ain't caused one.
Don't one or you'll have one.
I ain't caused one.
See you and that.
I ain't caused one. I was just turning the corner and you was blasting your arm like an idiot. You what?
I'll put you in an infirmary.
Will ya? Come on, you're fucking big and hard.
Yeah.
You where are you? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah, yeah.
It's so good. It just does all the heavy lifting for you, that clip. It just keeps giving.
It's,
I
never
think
get
about
bored
the
of it.
wife a lot.
I've forgotten there was a wife in
no,
there.
You sort of blink and you miss her. No reaction.
Long suffering, I would.
Yeah, well, I
suspect.
think the only thing that makes sense, because if I behave like that, Georgia was in the passenger seat, she'd be involved, like she would be actively engaged in that very aggressive, intense confrontation.
She'd take you outside, would you?
She's just sitting there thinking, like, what we're going to get for tea. What is on TV tonight? Have I got my lottery ticket? She's not engaged. So for her, that's probably just Ronnie every day.
Yeah, exactly. I think
she's
she's
got home.
used to
The
it.
kids have been like, "How's your day?" And she's gone.
Had another road rage incident with Ronnie.
Yeah, we had to drive around.
Kicked off over
Threatened to bare knuckle.
almost nothing.
Yeah,
It's an
three people.
incredibly minor. And he was to blame, wasn't he? He was beeping a guy who couldn't
Right at the
legitimately
beginning
turn
of the clip,
right.
it's because he doesn't set off quick enough or whatever. But unfortunately, the beeping just delays the process because it's the head turn that.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't suffer full stop. I'd like to know more about the motorcyclist.
Yeah.
I imagine him being quite small. For some
man.
reason.
But confident.
But not
Confident.
not scared of Ronnie Pickering.
Very confident.
Did we ever find out who Ronnie Pickering was? Because you can Google it now, as I have, and all you get is websites about that incident.
Yeah.
Who is he? Some sort of bare knuckle fighter?
I imagine he's just an angry man from.
Oh, do you not know?
No, I don't know. I don't know the Ronnie.
Does anyone know? That's
think-
the second
I
mystery
think,
in a
to be
row we
honest,
started
I
the
think
show off.
The more that's revealed about Ronnie, the less.
So we don't know where the
less
Edstone
endearing
is.
the
We
clip
don't know.
becomes.
We don't know who Ronnie Pickering is.
I think he's probably just driving around with his wife, screaming and shouting at people in the street.
Yeah, and that's
He's
enough
a-
to make
he's a
you
northern- he's a northern
notorious
mystery.
in that neck
Yeah.
of the woods, I expect. Yeah.
If someone's like, "What's it like to live in the north of England?" That's just a great clip to be like, well, it's most of the time it's pretty chill, but every now and again someone beeps the horn.
Do we know what part of the northern England that is? Not Pickering.
If it was Pickering, then Ronnie's the king of Pickering, isn't it?
Shall we go to the next clip?
Do it, mate. Yeah, let's go for it. Check it out.
So, Boris Johnson, divisive figure, became Prime Minister in 2019.
There's a few divisive figures.
There's a few divisive figures in this, but the important thing is not to take it too seriously.
Of course.
If you don't take these things seriously, you had a great time in the Banter Era. So he was interviewed by Talk Radio. Again, I think this is during the election campaign of late 2019. And yeah, he was like, what do you do for a good time when you're not doing politics? And for some reason, Johnson, and I'm not going to call Mr. Johnson a liar, but I think he made this up. He claimed, bizarrely, that his hobby was painting cardboard boxes to make them look like buses. Let's have a look.
I like to
He's thinking hard here, isn't he?
paint.
Really tried.
I make things. I like to.
What do you make?
I make.
He's like,
Digging
"Oh, no,
deep into
follow
his
up."
memory of what
I
a
have a thing
child
where I make
does.
models of When I was in Mayor of London, we built a beautiful. I make buses.
You make models of buses.
I make models of buses.
See, they're going to be in Downing Street.
So what I do? No, what I don't make models of buses. What I make is, I get old, I don't know, wooden crates.
Yeah.
Right. And then I paint them. And they have two. Suppose it's a box that's been used to contain two wine bottles, right?
Right.
And it will have a dividing thing.
Yeah.
And I turn it into a bus, and I put passengers. You really want to know this?
You're making buses. You're making cardboard buses. Okay, that's what you do to enjoy yourself.
I paint the passengers enjoying themselves.
Okay,
on the wonderful bus.
Great.
It's an incredible sort of stream of consciousness, isn't it? A man
enjoying themselves. What does that look like? Just frantically grinning at the window.
I don't know. I mean, where did it come from?
Why did he do that?
Because he didn't want to say eating and drinking.
Yeah,
which I suppose is a real answer.
Yeah, the sort of honest part of his brain was going fags, alcohol,
tapping up women.
Yeah. Just sort of, I like to just mess around.
So he just dug deep into his childhood and thought, what is the kind of thing I might have done as a child? Because I'll pretend I still do that now. That's my hobby.
Cardboard. And he sort of looks to the interviewer to be like, help me out and move on. And he's like, no, please.
Do tell me more.
Yeah.
In a box that contains 2 wine bottles. I can't even picture that. Did such things exist?
No, that's him. That's him just lying, thinking.
But in a weird way.
Don't say it's the 6 boxes. Say it's
odd lying when there's for no reason like that.
Yeah, it's an unusual moment.
He should have just said, I like going to the cinema and socialising, which is what people always say in their CVs. Instead of
he tried too hard to
divert
from the truth.
Oh, what if it's the truth, though? I mean, we're laughing about it, but who knows? It could be the truth. Could be.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, I've never, ever heard of
a grown man.
I mean, who am I?
You've got your Warhammer, but that's different. That's a proper.
Hobbies, but painting and creating buses out of cardboard,
crate painting kind of thing, isn't it?
Is literally the sort of activity you do at a children's playgroup.
Exactly. Well, anyhow, there we go. That's Bojo. Clip number 4.
I mean, I think both of us are in admiration of the
genius
the next gentleman
of Richard Madeley.
We spend a lot of time talking about Richard, and we're both aware that we could just talk about Richard every week.
We could. There's
so
be
much
50 clips of Richard Madeley easily. And he would fit in any era and provide banter, and has done.
There are a few agents of the banter era who continue to try and revive it.
He kept it going.
And Richard Madeley is probably one of the only.
Yeah.
He's
a true man amongst men. I think he's in his 70s as well, Richard Madeley.
No.
Incredible.
With that hair.
No, it's amazing.
Good Lord.
So let's refresh our memory. We're
going to play the Gavin Williamson clip.
Well, but not. No, we're not. We're going to play that last.
Oh, you're going to build us up
wet our ups up with
I love it.
a few classic Madeley moments.
Let's do it.
Some of which are pre-banter, some of which I think are even post-banter era.
He's the banter king.
Not in certain parts of the country. Quicksand. And a horrible way to die. Why should I not be allowed a G&T or a glass of wine with the meal on a flight because of these idiots? Having knocked someone out, which means you've given them brain damage, that's medically speaking. Do you make a lot of money? Are you rich?
Are you rich?
Yeah. Are you? Come on, it's a serious question. Are you able to make good money?
People just want to know.
I just want to know if there's money to be made. I'm not.
Let's have another one.
So good. This is my favourite.
Price. Do you put on your pet's care? Is there a point where you say, too expensive, the dog has to die?
He has really lent into
incredible.
Oh, he's God bless him. He's a big defender of capitalism and doesn't like people who might be trying to undermine it. So here's him interviewing Mick Lynch. This is post-banter.
Mick Lynch, who's the man leading the strike
to find
today,
out whether he's a Marxist.
is waiting for us at Euston Station. Mr. Lynch, good morning to you. It's going to be a busy day for you today. Can we just get one thing nailed to the wall before we get going here? You've been accused severally in the last few weeks of being a Marxist. It happened again last night. A backbench Tory MP said you were a Marxist with no interest in anything other than trying to tear down the government. Now, are you or are you not a Marxist? Because if you are a Marxist, then you're into revolution and into bringing down capitalism. So
free history lesson there for everybody.
Richard, you do come up with the most remarkable twaddle sometimes, I've got to say.
I didn't say you were a Marxist. I'm saying that you're being accused of being a Marxist, and that's not twaddle. That's called reporting.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not a Marxist. I'm an elected official of the RMT. I'm a working class bloke leading a trade union dispute about jobs, pay and conditions of service. So it's got nothing to do with Marxism. It's all about this dispute. It's an industrial dispute, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I emphasise I am not talking twaddle and accusing you of being a Marxist. I'm merely quoting people who are, including many of the newspapers.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, I'm sorry if it did, but I don't think it was. But anyway, to be absolutely clear, you are not a Marxist. Fine. Tell us about this
Question 2.
And he
Cheers for clearing that up.
Had a similar chat with Jeremy Corbyn.
Shadow Chancellor says in Who's Who that his hobby is fermenting the downfall of capitalism. He spells fermenting wrong, by the way, but we'll let that pass.
Well, he spells it like the beer.
He spells it like the beer, exactly. But that's what he says. And he is, to all intents and purposes, as are you, a Marxist.
Right, but, I mean, like you said, we could have picked any number of clips. But this is...
It's a belter.
Madeley at his most Partridge-esque, possibly.
Speaking... Williamson had said something about Russia.
Gavin Williamson, yeah. After the Salisbury poisonings... Gavin Williamson had said that Russia should shut up and go away. He was the defence minister, I think, at this point, coming up with these mature comments. So Madeley asked him, basically, do you regret saying that? Williamson refused to answer, and so Madeley basically kicked him off the show.
Is the world united behind Britain?
Yes.
And
Do you regret telling Russia to shut up and go away? Mr. Williamson, please answer the question. Mr. Williamson, you're just not answering the question. Mr. Williamson, I'm asking the question not on my behalf, but on behalf of our viewers. So on behalf of the viewers, would you please answer the question? Do you now regret telling a nation-state to shut up and go away? Do you think that was too casual an expression? Can you please answer that question?
Well, I think that what everyone saw is Russia's actions against our citizens in a city here in the United Kingdom.
Yes, you're telling us what we know. We know what happened in the city. We know what happened in Salisbury. We know how atrocious it was. We know how close these people came to death. The question is, I'll try it one more time. Do you regret using very casual Trump-esque language like shut up and go away? Please don't tell me what happened, because we know what happened. Do you regret using that language? That is the question.
Well, what was right is actually we came together with our allies and made it absolutely clear to Russia that they couldn't act in that behaviour. And I think that was the right thing to do.
Interview terminated because you won't answer the question. Good luck with the African Elephant project. That is an excellent thing to do. But it would be helpful if you answered a straight question with a straight answer.
That was the Defence Secretary, Gavin Williamson. They're also joined by Major James Cohen. They were talking about troops being deployed to Malawi and not talking about what he had to say about Russia.
What are these politicians like? You give them a straight question. It would have been so easy to say, no, I don't. I think it was an appropriate expression. Or to say, yes, probably on reflection, I should have perhaps been a little more...
He's so good, isn't he? It's like that age-old debate, though, of what came first, him or Partridge.
Yeah.
Because even the tones he uses there are just so
he's really lent into it over the years. I don't think he used to be as Partridge as he is now.
There's no way he was like that on the...
But then he wasn't really presenting sort of a news programme.
Yeah, and he wasn't,
was he?
Yeah, I think as he's got older, he's got a bit more sort of
I'm
going to be a bit edgy and a bit unusual.
Yeah, it's superb. I like the way he's fair enough to say at the end, he's... Give a man his due. Well done on the Elephant Project.
Yeah. He's like,
that actually is good.
Over there. Yeah, I don't want to kick you when you're down.
Interview terminated.
Yeah, that was the best line. Interview terminated.
Right. Shall we move on to Jeremy Corbyn?
Another regular.
He's going to appear quite a bit in this series.
Yeah, he gets a bit of airtime.
So, I mean, where do you start? Jeremy Corbyn, incredible character. And it's fair to say that he, particularly in the early years of his his leadership of the Labour Party, he made quite a few mistakes, which we'll be focusing on a lot. He actually got better as time went on, in a way, but he made some pretty schoolboy errors early on. So this, I think, is from his first Labour conference speech as leader, where he is very clearly reading from an autocue.
In skills, investing in our young people, and... strong message here. Not cutting student numbers.
It's over. Strong message.
Just to be, in case anyone's unclear what happened there was a little thing in sort of square brackets on the autocue saying "strong message here." Emphasise the next sentence, but he read it out instead.
That is cringe. Strong message.
Very good.
A painful character at times. Some of Jeremy's mess ups. We see another absolute classic from him later on that I struggle to watch.
Emily
Thorbury. Cringe. It's just absolute cringes me out. And his mannerisms are a little bit like my dad's.
Are they?
Yeah.
Which one?
I mean, his dad is...
Is your dad quite tetchy?
No, Howard is very different from Corbyn in many ways, but just facially and mannerisms look a bit like him. So when I see things where like Corbyn's getting embarrassed, I just think like, I have to remind myself, it's not Howard.
I can see why people like him. I met him. I was debating him at York University.
Oh yeah, you had a debate with him.
Wealth taxes. I met him beforehand, and I think he only had a vague idea who I was, but nothing. That wasn't a problem. He was nice, kind of nice grandfatherly kind of fella. He certainly had a lot of time for people. He was supposed to be turning up to this dinner. And he was about an hour late because he was just being mobbed in York shops where he was selling his poetry book with Len McCluskey. Him and McCluskey edited a poetry book together.
Did he talk to you after the debate? How did it go on the other side of things?
Not really. I mean, I shook his hand and we had a photo taken. We seemed to get on quite well during the debate. Sadly not. Shall we move on to
this next one?
They're all good, aren't they, these moments, but this is a particular joy.
This is a great... This is... In some ways, you might describe it as a bit of a surprise entry, because Extinction Rebellion is not something you would think, they're a prime Banter Era candidate. It's obviously very serious.
Very serious subject.
Very serious organisation. This clip, I think, was the first sign that there might be somewhat of a disconnect.
Bit of a backlash.
Yeah, bit of a backlash and a little bit of a disconnect between a lot of people who will actively support Extinction Rebellion and the working man. And there's no greater example. Start with the second one. There's no greater example from the time that there are two here. There's the tube incident when they thought, let's get on the Canning Town tube. This will really make a strong incident. And there's also the time they tried to spray a building with a red paint.
Yeah, which one should we start with?
I'd like to start with the red paint.
Let's go.
That explosion there. Why is that guy not running?
How did they get hold of a fire engine in the first place? This guy's not bothered.
Yeah.
It's probably not real paint. They're always very keen to point out that it's only sort of environmentally friendly paint that's easy to wash. I don't understand how they got hold of a fire engine in the first place. Oh, she's got hold of it. No, she's lost it again.
Okay. Well, presumably more angry about the pavement than the building at this stage, but never mind.
Yeah, it looks like the streets are running with blood.
How did they get a fire engine? That's a full-on proper fire engine.
Yeah.
Can you hire them?
I don't think so. Well, maybe you can.
Maybe there's an insider.
This lad's got a suit on up there.
There we go, boys. It's over. Still do the photo op, though.
Stop funding climate. Look at this fella. They have a lot of old people involved in Extinction Rebellion.
They do, don't they?
Shall we have a look at the Battle of Canning Town?
The Battle of Canning Town. This was not the best idea. Climbing on top of a tube.
Rush hour in the morning.
Yeah, and I used to live a few stops away from Canning Town. Like, it's busy. It's a busy stop.
They don't suffer fools, do they?
They don't suffer. It's a working class community.
Yep.
Everybody needs to get to work, and it is an incredibly busy tube station. So the characters that climbed on top to stop the tube.
Also, has to be said, underground trains not particularly bad for the environment. I mean,
particularly
their preferred form
packed.
of
I think
transport. I would have thought trains, powered by electricity.
Powered by electricity.
Wind farms.
Name a busier transport than a London tube in rush hour. Like, how many more people can you pack onto a moving vehicle?
So these crusties were expecting, presumably, a warm welcome from the.
I think
London
they were expecting
community.
people to say thank you for saving us from the climate emergency.
But what they got instead was a near-death experience, pretty much, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Very much so.
That's fine.
He's kicked out. It's Darren Brown, that.
This guy is lucky to escape with his life, isn't he? And then now we get a sort of Charlie Chaplin style chase up and down the train. So the guy is thinking, how do I get out of this situation now?
Yeah, he's like, I'm coming for you, lad.
Look at this legend. God, get it. Just walking along, sort of comic Buster Keaton. Oh, did they get in this point? Yeah, they do.
Get his legs.
It's a good job security were there, I think. Otherwise, it could have been a couple of people.
Yeah, that
in
could
intensive care at best.
I don't think they've tried a stunt like that since, to be fair. It's resorted to more sort of
They
public.
stick to posher things, I don't know, like Wimbledon and art galleries and stuff.
Yeah, they've aimed more, rather
Crucible.
than upsetting, I think that really taught them, don't upset the working class.
Yeah.
Don't get in the way of working class people trying to do work. Aim for the middle class, so now they're doing more middle class orientated.
But there's been a lot
Stonehenge,
of
Wimbledon.
The snooker. Snooker's not particularly middle class.
The football ones haven't gone particularly well.
No, that was great when the guy tied himself by the neck to the goal.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Everton.
I mean, very risky. You got to respect that, actually. That is commitment to the cause.
Yeah.
He's left himself completely vulnerable to
very vulnerable.
Tens of thousands of people who hate him.
They've realised now, I think.
Well, they keep gluing themselves to the streets, I think, don't they? So that annoys working people, and they get dragged away by working people. So anyway, up the workers. Let's talk about Alan Sugar.
One of your favourites.
Alan Sugar. Now, Alan Sugar during the Banter Era, I mean, he's one of the kings of Twitter for a start off. Just putting out dad jokes and stuff. He's just got so much money, he doesn't care. Doesn't matter to him what people think. So 2015 starts boasting about his massive television that he's got. And, I mean, it's just a classic photo when you're pointing at something that big. Like, we can't see it otherwise. I just installed this giant 90-inch TV Sharp, great picture quality at Sharp. Possibly got a discount for promoting it, I don't know. And then just continued sending this basically the same photo. So this is 3 months later, he's still made up with his big telly. Pointing at himself on his big telly. Again, pointing out this 90-inch Sharp. And yeah, a number of photos like this. I think that's him watching The Apprentice in his shorts. And then this collage.
One, it's literally the same picture.
Again, watching The Apprentice. But look down here at this dog. This is the weird thing. Zooming on the dog. That is not a dog's face, is it? That's Alan Sugar's face.
What is going on?
That's creepy as hell, isn't it? What is going on there? Is he cloning himself as a dog or something?
Lord.
That's odd. But the fun doesn't stop there with Sugar. We're calling this one moment, but it's really just about Sugar. Also have a habit of sending out some pretty touch-and-go, borderline racist tweets, such as this one here. The kid in the middle is upset because he was told off for leaving the production line of the iPhone 5.
He's not afraid of a controversial tweet, Lord Sugar, is he?
This one he thought was very amusing, about people selling sunglasses on the beach in Marbella.
I remember that one caused a real uproar.
He had a lot of people kicking off about that. But he stands his ground very often. So he's replying, if it's so bad, why have you retweeted it? Why do you retweet it so bad? If it's so vile, why have you retweeted it? You make me sick. But in the end, he did very begrudgingly take it down. Just been reading the reaction to my funny tweet about the guy on the beach in Marbella. Seems it's been interpreted in the wrong way as offensive by a few people. Frankly, I can't see that. I think it's funny, but I will pull it down if you insist.
That's the biggest apology you'll get out of Lord Sugar. He's doubled down like, look, it's funny.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm just taking it down because you don't find it funny.
Yeah, I'm sorry if people are offended. It's that kind of apology. Yeah. Isn't it? And then, of course, the war of words with another king of Twitter, Donald Trump. So they fell out about something. I suppose Sugar criticised Trump's politics or something like that. So Trump, as always, not taking it lying down. Dopey Lord Sugar, look in the mirror and thank the real Lord that Donald Trump exists. You are nothing. When I made The Apprentice the number one show in the US, that was a good day for you and many others. Drop to your knees, Sugar, and say thank you, Mr. Trump.
Really asserting his dominance there. Really going for it.
Sugar replied to the first one saying, Dopey, no, not the first one, there's another tweet about golf. Dopey Sugar, to be fair, this is pre-Banter Era, but let's not be too rigid with the rule of thumb. Dopey Sugar, isn't it sad that my golf course in Scotland just got best new course in the world? It's worth more than you are. Sugar replied, how can it be voted best golf course in the world if it is not open, you deluded idiot? Dopey Sugar, because it was open all season long, you can't play golf in the snow, you stupid ass. So I think you have to give that one on points to both Apprentice presenters. Amazing people who present Apprentice become the best tweeters in the world, isn't it? Yeah, what is it about that show that makes you so good at Twitter?
I think it's the confidence. I think what we've seen there from Sugar and Trump is neither of them really care. They've accumulated so much wealth / power.
FU money, I think they call it.
Like, I really don't care. I will put the same picture of me pointing at this telly 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And I don't care.
I've got
a
big telly, you haven't.
Literally don't care. I have no interest. I'm amusing myself, if anything.
And this telly is also on my yacht.
Yeah. yeah. And Trump's the same, isn't he? Trump's just like...
But
I
more
really
so.
don't care
But
what anyone thinks.
Yeah. But he's a billionaire, whereas Sugar's a millionaire. As Trump
fails
Trump, to remind him.
Not the best insults from either of them.
What, you dopey ass and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think
pretty good.
I think they could have been a bit more creative. They're both sort of classic name callers, though. But I would argue.
But that's what I like about them. They're both quite basic.
Yeah,
that's the source of their ultimate humour, is that they're so basic.
They're
just like me and you.
Flat insult. They're just normal men.
Yeah, if me and you became multimillionaires, we'd probably watch it, wouldn't we? But
I'd be a nightmare.
And we know deep down we would, and so that's why we admire people like that who carry on exactly as they were before, putting out pretty racist memes and insulting one another.
Trump is absolutely.
Let's talk more about Trump.
Let's talk. Again, he's another one of the sort of banter kings.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a main
Johnson,
character,
basically, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's gone missing for a while. He's back.
He's back.
Back on Twitter.
Very much so.
And if anyone could bring the banter era back, it would be an alignment of Trump and maybe some other characters. But he has got some absolutely incredible moments from the banter era. He's definitely a divisive character, right? But this isn't a political show.
No.
This is a show about us finding
funny
humour
things.
and fun in strange times. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that I think don't appreciate Trump's humour just because they don't like Trump.
Yeah.
But if you can if you can put your political bits aside,
put it to one side,
and just engage with what we're dealing with.
Yeah. One of the funniest characters to ever take up politics.
Big time.
So you've got some clips from the primaries, is it? 2016.
Yeah, click the Rosie O'Donnell one first, because this one down, not this one, the one underneath. Sorry, this is.
He doesn't like Rosie O'Donnell, does he?
Absolutely not. This was the one that sort of let everybody know that he's coming.
This is going to be funny. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look.
Women, guess whose name came up?
You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
That's the moment there where you thought, okay. And it's a laugh from the audience that made him go like, okay, people are laughing.
I can go there.
I can shoot from the hip.
Who is Rosie O'Donnell?
I'm not sure. I think she might be a reporter that upset him.
Okay. Next one.
This is him off the cuff. The one thing that Trump did quite a lot in the primaries is he would let other people say something and then not say it himself. So people would say or shout things from the crowd, and he'd be like, "Your words, not mine." But he would basically make it his words. So this is a moment where someone shouts something out about Hillary, and he goes with the flow. He uses it to his advantage.
Nod and a wink.
Yeah.
Then this happened at a Trump rally.
This is something you shouldn't have. What was that? Is that a dog?
Hillary.
It's Hillary.
So they'll be like, "It's Hillary." But then there's an absolute classic one of him doing this, which is the Cruz one. So this again is him doubling down on his...
What was his nickname for Ted Cruz? Lion Ted Cruz, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, there was a huge rift between Cruz and his wife. There ended up being a situation where there was a picture that was shared of Melania and of her, like, naked with it covered out and being like, your next first lady, just saying she's not very morals. So then Trump's team started comparing Melania to Ted Cruz's wife, and there's some stark differences there in terms of what they look like. And both the wives got dragged into it, and it absolutely triggered Cruz like you wouldn't believe. And it became a huge thing.
Sure, yeah.
But this is a classic. This is classic Trump using something else, something someone else says for him to be like,
okay,
I didn't say it, you said it.
All right, let's have a look.
In a debate, they asked Ted Cruz, serious question, well, what do you think of waterboarding? Is it okay? And honestly, I thought he'd say absolutely, and he didn't. He said, well, it's, he's concerned about the answer, because some people, she just said a terrible thing. You know what she said? Shout it out, because I don't want to...
Shout it out, yeah.
Okay, you're not allowed to say, and I never expect to hear that from you again. She said, I never expect to hear that from you again. She said he's a pussy. That's terrible. Terrible.
I didn't say it.
I didn't say
it. But then this is his class. This is great humour as well. The fire truck clip. Him just going with the flow. This is good. This is him rallying rallying his crew.
Is that on purpose?
Just ad-libbing a bit of comedy.
Are they friend or foe?
Oh, it's a natural.
I don't know. I actually felt good. I felt water on my face. I said, where the hell is that coming? They may be doing that on purpose. Let's find out if they're friend or foe. And if they're foe, let's take care of those son of a bitches.
A lot of Trump's rallies are just him sort of freestyling. It's a bit
completely.
like an open mic.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing skill.
Again, forget what you think of his politics, but there are a few politicians who could be like, just flick the mic
just
on.
riff for 3 hours.
I'll just chat. Oh, look, there's a fire truck going off. Are they friend or foe? Having a bit of fun. Like, this pure banter.
He's a kind of genius at it, really. Just improv. It's what helps having like total confidence in yourself. You don't care if you're just going to ramble on and CNN will clip a bit and go like Trump went off in a mad direction, doesn't know what he's talking about.
Don't need to over-prepare, don't need to stick to it. There's so many.
I bet he doesn't make any notes at all.
I think he just rocks up.
Yeah.
It's just I'm just gonna roll with it.
Extraordinary.
And the other thing he does, you saw it with the Biden debate very recently. He just gets in people's heads because of that, and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to deal with the banter and the daftness, and like he'll just fire a shot at you. We see him a lot through our episodes. So he's a reoccurring character.
Not the last clip we're going to see, but let's skip to another of my favourite clips involving the great Labour MP David Lammy, who is in a piece of like spontaneous comedy beauty, is recording a piece for the BBC in which he's complaining that there's not enough bobbies on the beat anymore. Let's say no more and simply watch the clip.
Like neighbourhood policing has vanished. It's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now. People are frightened. It's pretty simple comedy, but it works, doesn't it?
It's simple comedy, and it's one of those where, what's the classic meme of the Leonardo DiCaprio where it's like filming with a grin? I'll pop it up on the screen. But the cameraman is like, he must don't realise. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're thinking, oh, this is great. This clip is going to be seen
because
over
you
and
legitimately
over and over
do very rarely see a policeman just standing on the street like that. It feels like it's been set up.
That copper could be anywhere else other than there, and he would be out of shot. I mean, it's slightly to the right, he's behind his shoulder. A bit further left, he's behind a bridge. But it's like he's been purposely positioned right in between him and the.
It's just beautiful comedy. It's reminiscent. I don't know if you've seen Return of the Pink Panther, but at the start of that, you got Peter Sellers having a go at some beggar for not having a license while a full-on bank robbery is going on behind him. Similar vibes. Let's have a little bit more Lammy. This is pre-Banter Era, but I think we have to show it because his appearance on Mastermind is absolutely staggering.
Great. 8 points you have with Muhammad Ali. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. 2 minutes starting now. What was the married name of the scientists Marie and Pierre who won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1903 for their research into radiation?
Antoinette.
Curie. Cockpit country is a rugged, inaccessible area on which Caribbean island?
Pass.
Which former Conservative leader in a magazine article in August 2000 claimed that while working as a deliveryman's assistant, he downed around 14 pints of beer a day?
William Hague.
Yes, which fortress was built in the 1370s to defend one of the gates of Paris and was later used as a state prison by Cardinal Richelieu?
Versailles.
The Bastille. In February 2008, which Tottenham Hotspur player scored the first goal of Fabio Capello's reign as England football manager?
Aaron Lennon.
Jermaine Ginnas. James Gandolfini played a mafia boss called Tony in which American television series?
Godfather.
The Sopranos. What name is used for the highest gallery of seats in a theatre?
Gods.
Pass.
Which organisation was founded in 1909 as the home section of the Secret Service Bureau to counteract the threat of German spies?
MI5.
Yes. Which American military award is given to those who are wounded in action and bears the inscription for military merit on the reverse?
Pass.
I don't know.
Chris Martin is the lead singer with which award-winning British band?
Coldplay.
Yes. Which variety of blue English cheese traditionally accompanies port?
Leicester.
Stilton. What term for a top-floor luxury flat originally meant a shed or outhouse?
Penthouse.
Yes. In 2006, Sandy Toksvig replaced Simon Hoggart as the presenter of which topical Radio 4 quiz show?
Pass.
Which American chat show host has business ventures including Harpo Productions and Oxygen Media, which operates a 24-hour cable television network for women?
Oprah Winfrey.
Yes. Who acceded to the English throne at the age of 9 on the death of his father Henry VIII in 1547?
Henry VII.
Edward VI. In chemistry, what French word is used for a tube for transferring measured amounts of liquids?
Pass.
Which country's so-called Rose Revolution of 2003 led to the resignation of its president, Edward Shevardnadze?
Yugoslavia.
No, it was Georgia. You had 5 passes.
He's not. I think we've both met him, haven't we? And
we have met him. We spent time with him.
By any means a stupid man, is he?
The David.
I think he must have just got dazzled by the lights.
Yeah, I mean,
and the
listen,
pressure.
I'm not sure I'd do amazing on Mastermind, but I also wouldn't be daft enough to go on in the first place and pretend I am.
You'd probably get a question about Leeds United, right? Wouldn't you?
I'd do all right on Leeds.
He wouldn't.
If Warhammer.
Henry VIII was succeeded by Henry VII.
Yeah, I mean that is. You
Or
can
the
see
Marie
that.
Antoinette discovered rainbow.
Yeah, no, there's some belters in there, and you can see after the kind of like.
Yeah, you take a chance. Just before we leave the subject of the great David Lammy, I've got to give mention of this wonderful tweet about Remembrance Day. At 11 a.m. today, we mark exactly 100 years since the 11th minute of the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, when the sounds of war fell silent. We must never forget our soldiers and men sacrificed. Gone a bit too detailed with the times. It wasn't 11:11.
Yeah,
the 11th second of the 11th minute of the 11th hour.
It's a little too 11.
David.
Bless David. This last clip, I think, again, alongside Ronnie Pickering, is a clip that I've watched many times.
One for the ages.
If I'm ever just feeling a bit down, this is the sort of clip that I'll whack on. And again, there's a theme here of just the working man. The working man saying it how it is.
Frustration.
The frustrations.
Ordinary bloke.
The frustrations of the working man.
So this clip, this for some reason followed an England game in, when would it be? 2018? Maybe World Cup game, I think. I'm not sure. I remember it very clearly because I was watching it. There was an England game on, and then for some reason decided, let's have a politics show straight afterward. And they had loads of people. They had Bowles was there, Jeremy Corbyn, all these people were there. And Danny Dyer is being invited along. And I actually burst out laughing, obviously, when he said all this stuff. And then I rewound it and then got videoed it on my phone, put it out on Twitter. And honestly, my phone stopped working. It got so much interaction. It was like, it genuinely,
I remember.
it heated up. It was incredible. It got, in the end, something like 8 million impressions. It was extraordinary, but you can see why.
I forgot that you brought this clip to the world.
Because this is Mr. Danny Dyer, and it's not the last time you will be seeing him in the Banter Era Greatest Moments either. Letting rip on Brexit and David Cameron.
This whole Brexit thing, when you know, you're judging them on Brexit, they don't know nothing about it. Who knows about Brexit?
Yeah,
no one's got a fucking clue what Brexit is, yeah? You watch Question Time, it's comedy.
Were you no clearer when Jeremy Corbyn explained
No, I got the
Labour's
clue.
policy?
No one knows what it is. It's like this mad riddle that no one knows what it is, right? So what's happened to that twat David Cameron who called it on? Let's be fair.
I think you're referring to our former Prime Minister.
Yeah, but how comes he can scuttle off? He called all this on.
Yeah.
Yeah?
He has no regrets.
Where is he? He's in Europe, in Nice, with his trotters up. Yeah? Where is the geezer? I think he should be held accountable for it. He should be held accountable for it.
It's a valid point. A lot of people do feel that all politicians.
Oh, it's that last twat that really seals it as one of the greatest moments on television ever. A few second thoughts. It's got one more point to make it.
No one knows what it is.
Yeah, it's
I love how it cuts to Jeremy. They give him an opportunity to be like, no, I understood what Jeremy's like. No, I don't understand it. Jeremy's like...
No, Jeremy was creasing up. You could tell. Who wouldn't be?
Absolutely
I
superb.
love that moment.
I love Danny Dyer. He's great. He reminds me of... I've watched so many of those Football Factories.
Yeah.
Just brilliant
Britain's
TV.
hardest pubs.
Absolutely,
hardest football hooligans.
It's great TV.
Everything. We've got who do you think you are? We're coming up in a future episode.
That's
who do you prefer, Danny Dyer or Richard Madeley?
Ooh. Do you imagine a night out with them two, actually?
Know.
Or they'd be two great people to have. You know, they're kind of like, who's your favourite dinner party? Those two would be a good laugh.
Would have to be in there.
Slightly different backgrounds, but they both say what they see.
Yeah.
In fact, a podcast with them.
I wonder if Madeley's ever interviewed Dyer. Probably has at some point. On the sofa in the morning?
Probably. I think I'd have to go for... I think Richard probably is consistently ridiculous. And he's done a... Yeah, but Danny...
It's always funny.
He's always funny, but I just don't think anything can trump Richard. Richard's just out there.
What about Trump?
I think I've got to go Richard number 1.
Yeah. Then
Danny, then Danny, and then Trump. Yeah.
There we go. That's the dinner party sorted out. We better leave it there for this episode.
Yeah, thanks so much for watching, folks. We'll be back with episode 2 of our 50 greatest Banter Era moments. See you then.
Cheers. Bye.
We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.